Hi friends, it's Udhaya from Backyard Garden Highlights. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today I'm planning to share it with you guys how the backyard garden looks. And as you can see, that's the Shasta daisy. They look really beautiful and there are a ton of blooms there. Let me start from there. As you can see, these two banana plants are doing great. Only thing is they are not getting enough sun. And after that I have the kale. This is my first time. I don't know whether it's too late for harvest them, but they really look amazing leaf structures. So whether I'm going to have them for my kitchen needs or not, but I really love watching these leaves. And Shasta daisy meadowland, I would say. It's becoming wild here. So I'm waiting for the blooms to complete and then I will be cutting the plants down so that I don't really have to deal with any pest here. And these are all the beets. After beets I have my radish. Let me do one thing. Let me go inside and show you guys how. This is how all the radish looks now. I hope you guys can see when you zoom it a little bit. And then I have all my carrots here. They have grown and they are popping out of the ground. They don't seems to be really big size though, but I know like I transplanted them, so as you can see I think this is going to be some funny shape, but otherwise I think all the carrots are coming out, so I may be taking them in a week or two. But it's really awesome to see the carrots pop out of the ground and tell us it's ready for harvest. This is one of the radish that I actually left from my winter sowing for seed collection. There are a ton of blooms, so I'm going to really see if I can make seeds for my next season. And then I have basil that I started from direct sowing. I'm not using them as it's supposed to be in a fresh leaf, and I think they are bolting. They started going to seed, but I think that's fine. This is my first time I'm planting basil from seeds. Probably I'll sow them in the fall so I can use them in a nice taste, because now I think if I harvest them they are going to be a little bit bitter and they don't taste well. This is my rose bush. As you can see, they are not really looking great. All the blooms are done and I'm not keeping up to speed with the deadheading them. And I have budworms and whatnot, Latin flies and Japanese beetles. So same time I have to deal with so many pests. Look at this, the beetles. Japanese beetles are really spoiling all the leaves and the buds. But I want to show you guys one stalk that really came up as a ready-made bouquet for me. I wish I cut them, but I'm not really that much strong enough to cut this. I'll show you guys when it looked really nice. It's almost done and beetles have damaged this, but I'll show you guys how they looked when they really put up the new growth and how beautiful they looked. It is like I can just grab them and put it in the vase. That's how they looked. And you can see all the Shasta daisies. Amazing, right? Okay, I think it's starting to rain. The mint has taken half of this bed and Shasta daisies have taken half of the bed. But I'm not going to complain them. Like anyway, I'm not going to use this space for anything. So I'm feeling glad that they grow on their own, and I used to cut them and share it with their neighbors and friends. And these bushes, let me show you from the distance. Yep, these bushes I have cut them, but I really deep cut them. As you can see, they don't look really great this year, but next year I think this part will be closed. So hopefully next year or sometime in fall I will still reduce the size so I have more space to walk around and I have space for these plants. These are all okras. Yeah, that's another learning for me this time. So last year I didn't have any problem here for planting okra, but this year these are all being really damaged by these slugs and snails. I didn't realize until maybe last week. I was really thinking why they are not really growing fast, because they really grow very fast when the temperature rises. Now only I realize they are being really damaged. Hopefully I don't know whether I'll be able to really get nice strong plants this year. I have actually got some more seeds and I have transplanted another 3. In the 3, as you can see, this is already completely damaged by the slugs and snails. I am hoping that these 2 plants grow better. Anyway, this is actually one of the vegetable that I want to grow. The tubers under this plant is basically we eat. So I have planted those tubers. I don't know what's the name in English for that. I'll put it on the screen. But I know this plant will be like growing like elephant ears. So I have put in the bigger pot. Hopefully I get some tubers that I can use in my kitchen. And this is pansy that I have transplanted from my spring. They are looking really great, and I kept pansies last year in the same place, so I have got a lot of seedlings around this place. I'm hoping that next year also these pansies self-seed here so I can transplant them, and I'll show you where I have transplanted the seedlings, the free seedlings that I have got from the volunteer plants this year. So this is how my onion bed looks. Half of this bed I thought I'll top up with compost soil, like I applied compost soil on top of the onions that were visible outside, and I don't know whether that caused any problems. Next day all the plants have actually like fallen. Those one white onions I did not compost, so they look straight upward direction. So I think this is learning I should not really apply soil on top of the onions. So I'm hoping that usually most of the experienced gardeners recommend that July 4th or 1 or 2 weeks after is harvesting time. My onions doesn't look really great. Some looks really good, but not everything. But I'm still learning. I'm going to continue to try next year also, but definitely better than last year. So that's how I feel I have made some progress over growing onions. Let me show you guys the closer look. So these are all this onion seems to be big, but as you can see, other onions, oh yeah, this one also looks big, but most of the onions are like this tiny, maybe like a shallot than the onion. And this is how the white onions looks. And white onions also, like at least white onions seems to be performed better than the red onions. Anyway, let me show you closer look. Yeah, this is one white onion. Let me show you one white onion was good size. So this is how this one was one of the big onion that I have. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's not too bad. That's how I take this result. So I will wait for another 1 or 2 weeks and then I will harvest them. And then I have this one, Columbine. After they are done blooming, they gone to the seed and looks like they will go to dormancy because the leaves are turning yellow. And they, if I recall last year, they really, I think, went to dormancy, and I thought the plant died, but now only I realized they are going to dormancy after their bloom, which is interesting to know. If you guys feel otherwise, comment below and let me know if I need to change anything for this Columbine to look really better. And this is my spare tomato plant I want to try in the pot, because I have planted maybe 6 to 7 tomato plants in the in-ground, but this time I'm thinking I will take this inside, so next year I will have some bigger tomato plant to really start the season. Last year also I planted like this, but I did not really do well with that plant. Hopefully this time I take this inside on time, so before they die. Let's see. And then I have sweet peas. They are almost done and they have gone to seeds. I'm still thinking whether I should take these plants out or should I leave them so in fall they come back. Let's see. And this is one of the coleus plant that I have planted here for some adding color in the back of the raised bed. And let me come back. As you can see, this is the vegetable raised bed. I have used every inch of this bed, so that's why you are like seeing it's fully covered with a lot of leaves. Hopefully this method works. And I am still so far I'm seeing positive results, but you know, right, July, August, the temperature rises so fast and then the plants take over another plant, so I don't know whether the plants inside are going to get enough sun. But let me show you guys what I have in this vegetable raised bed. The back side, 5 to 6 plants. These are all the tomato plants. Potato plants. So these potato plants, I did not really plant them. So last year, I think I left some of these small potatoes in the ground, and they actually acted as a seed and they started producing plant this time. So it's basically potato plant acted as a perennial, which is really cool thing. So I'm thinking maybe next year also, end of this season, I'm thinking I can put some small potatoes, so I don't have to really dig up the soil early in the season when the soil was not ready. So the potato plants really know when to pop out of the ground. So I'm going to try that method this year as well. I'm hoping that this produces good amount of potatoes for me. So based on that, I will really decide whether I should leave some of the small potatoes this year also. So I don't need to really work hard to plant potato plants in spring, like where we have so much cold. The next one you can see, let me show you. Actually, I have 3 plants here, which is supposed to be string beans. So I planted string bean seeds, but you know what I got? The flat beans. So string beans, the variety that I planted was bush type. So they are not supposed to be climber, but after they started growing, I realized that they are like coming up with these vines. So realized, okay, something went wrong with my seed inventory. So instead of bush beans, I planted again pole beans, because I have 4 pole beans here and they are producing ton of flat beans here for me for every day I'm harvesting. So it's now I ended up with almost 7 or 8 plants with the pole beans. It's okay. I will try to see how to store them in the freezer so I could use them in winter, or I have definitely a great amount of neighbors and friends with whom I can share. The next plant you can see in the first 2 rows here, they are my husband's favorite plant. Last year I did not have enough harvest. This is the red beans. Let me show you guys the closer look. Look at this, guys. I have a lot of red beans. I was waiting to film this and then harvest them so that I can enjoy and I can make my husband feel so happy about the gardening. So these are all the red beans, which is my husband's favorite vegetable. Every plant has ton of beans. Yeah, you can see there, and there also. And then I have all shallots here. They had enough sun before this bush beans actually started growing. Now I really see they are packed really inside kind of a tunnel. So I don't know how much sun they are getting, but so far I'm seeing them really growing well and they are multiplying. Hopefully they get enough sun and produce good amount of shallots, at least for 1 week cooking. And then the pole beans that I have said, guys, look at the amount of beans that I get. Like, this is everywhere you can see the beans. I think this is really wonderful plant. I don't really do any fertilizer or anything except watering. Look at that, how much growth they are putting and how much, like, look at the beans. Like, everywhere flowers or the vegetable, like lot of beans. So that's how the flat beans become a favorite of mine. For beginner gardener, definitely flat beans is one of the easiest vegetable to grow. You just need to provide them some trellis or support and then give them some good water and they will just amaze you. And then I have chilies actually. So I think I chosen wrong location for chilies. Now I'm training all these vines to climb in the trellis so they are not falling on this chili plant. But with a reduced amount of sunlight for them, they are really like growing slowly. But I'm hoping that once these vines climb up, hopefully they get enough sun or they get worse than now. So let's see. It's all part of learning, right? And then I have another Chillies plant here for the pop of the color in the end. Because so once this trellis fills around July, August, this place will become dark. So I'm thinking maybe giving some kind of a bright color plant will really be a nice idea. So let me go back little and show you the other side of the planting. Oh yeah, I didn't cover this one. So the the green peas are done. So I did not remove the dead plants yet, but I have planted cucumber here. I'm hoping that I could put some trellis here so cucumbers can, this is my, I would say, backup cucumber because one more plant is in the ground. But I thought some around August, what happens is like you get ton of rain in New Jersey and the cucumber plant will get rust disease. So I thought I'll put it in the grow bag so I can move them around when it is raining heavily. And this is another potato plant that I have planted in a grow bag just to give it a try. This is actually Moringa tree, and in India we use every parts of this plant for our cooking, like the leaves and the flower and the drumstick or the moringa. We use everything and it contains a lot of minerals, iron contents. We really missed having this food here. We want to have as much fresh leaves than the store bought one. So I have actually started growing this Last year it was like maybe 1 feet, maybe 1.5 feet. Now it's like more than 3 feet. So I'm really happy that the tree is able to really make great progress this year. And these are all the new leaves and they are just growing up. I'm hoping that this tree comes very strong and I can start harvesting. Right now I cannot really harvest these leaves, but once they really grow well, I will be start harvesting them. So this is the moringa tree that I have in my garden, which I'll be taking them inside once the cool weather comes in, because they are tropical. They cannot survive outside winter weather. And then I have another tree. It looks maybe 3 inch now. This is a curry leaves plant. Like it adds a flavor to your cooking. 90% of cooking this will be in the seasoning. That's another reason we want fresh curry leaves in our home. So we started this one. Actually my friend gifted me last year. I did not transplant them on time, so they could not really put up nice growth. So this time I have transplanted them. Since I transplanted, this is the new growth. So I don't know, maybe ½ inch. Yeah, that's really cool, because the entire 2 inch or something did not make any progress last year. This year it is growing well. And these are all the groundnuts. I don't know what, but I am using this as a mulch, because we used to eat a lot of groundnuts, the fresh groundnuts, not the peeled one. So all this stuff I use for mulching. So that's what you are seeing in this pot and the other pot. This is another pot that I have green chilies again. So as you can see, like there are a lot of green chilies, and this gets full sun, so it's performing really very great. The plan is I will take this plant inside my home once the weather gets cool, so I can use this plant for my next year as well.